Hello everyone!
Hi.
Hi! It is a very spooky time of year it is. It is the month of October.
Oh, yes, it is.
And welcome to Toypanic's Spooktober. We
Spooktober.
have horror videos every week for this month. Just in anticipation of Halloween. I am a big fan of Halloween, the holiday, not the movies franchise so much. But so let's start with the age-old question. What is horror? Horror is usually stuff that terrifies you, horrifies you. When people think of horror, usually they think of stuff like this, right?
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I think horror is a very subjective thing. Mm-hmm. We are each horrified by different things.
So I think we have two oddities within this collection that we're going to go through and see, hey, what is that movie horror or is it not horror?
If
That's
it's not horror, basically we're gonna throw it out.
Mm-hmm. So we have two oddities here. I think we can show them off.
Yeah. You see, to me, this is horror. The first Twilight movie. When I first saw a sparkly vampire, I swear I could not sleep for a few nights.
Actually, that movie was quite good for me.
But
it was quite good for me. Romance.
To me, it's horror. And then I heard that he was going to become the next Batman, and that was even more horror for me.
Sparkly vampire Batman.
So now Batman has become a horror movie.
Yeah. So most of you would disagree, but to me, this is horror lah. That's how subjective horror is, right?
And despite it not being specifically a horror movie, this is considered a horror movie. Jaws.
Yeah, this is actually a monster movie.
I think it's more tension rather than horror, isn't it?
Yeah, but people are horrified of beaches after this. It's scary.
Yeah, the people at the
scared of
80s.
Water after watching this.
Yeah.
Bodies of water, swimming pools, bathtubs.
Oh yeah.
I avoided them for a while.
I was terrified by deep bodies of water after this movie.
Parents are telling you keep away from the beaches. There are jaws in there. What jaws?
Yeah.
Jaws is not the name of the shark, man.
It's the name of the movie.
Yeah.
But even we call sharks here ikan jaws.
Yeah.
That's how iconic.
In Chinese, you also call it jaws.
Yeah.
For some reason.
But this is still considered a horror movie, somewhat. Even though it's not. It's more of a monster movie. I will not throw this over the shoulder because this is my collector's.
Never throw a Steven Spielberg.
What? Okay. So,
Never.
Me and Andrew have been longtime horror fans, and between us, we have a bunch of horror movies collected over the years. He has more.
I'm too keen for horror.
I haven't had that much of a collection yet, so we'll go through and see, what to consider horror. But first, I think, what do we each consider horror? What terrifies us? What terrifies you? What scares you? What keeps you up at night?
Survival, which things that you can't explain, mostly like science fiction or some shits like that. 13 Ghosts actually scare me quite a bit.
Oof.
Yeah, those things that you can really exist in this world.
Anything else scare you?
Science fictions mostly.
Well,
Science fiction is scary.
At least it's not
science
public
fiction
spaces.
is scary. Basically, for me, Resident Evil is
mostly
quite scary
because
as a kid.
it's fear of the unknown.
Yeah, it's fear of the unknown, and then it can
Trek is
happen. almost not lah.
Okay.
Star Trek is not lah.
Alright.
But probably those ghosts doesn't really scare a lot. What I scared is mostly like scientific creatures and all that. Aliens.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's horror for me. The Thing. Yeah, that's a horror for me.
what do you consider horror, Andrew? What scares you? What keeps you up at night?
To me, what horror it requires a sense of helplessness. It is something that you cannot do anything about. No matter how prepared you are or how capable you are, what is happening is beyond your control. No matter what you do, even if you make all the right decisions, you will die.
The price of gasoline,
that unknown thing will get you.
petrol
No matter
prices.
what you do.
You'll never know.
What for me, horror is as well. It's isolation, helplessness, and if you're alone somewhere in the woods and there's a mass killer after you, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, that is actually much more
That's
horrifying
scary.
than ghosts.
There's a sense of helplessness there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that freaks me out too.
But of course, that's so baseline. This is what scares us: being alone, being helpless, fear of the unknown. That's been a time immemorial fear of humankind. So,
Yeah, we would like to know what are your thoughts on horror.
what scares you?
But on this table, Andrew, you call the shots on what's horror because
So-
we do trust your judgment more than this one.
All right, so let's start with pretty straightforward material.
Random polls.
Random polls. I'll start from my side since I have the least amount. Freddy versus Jason.
Is that horror?
Freddy vs. Jason? Yes, of course, horror. It's two icons of horror.
Okay.
How can it not be horror?
Yeah, we have one here.
This is definitely horror.
All right. A
Okay.
definite horror. We keep.
Yes.
We keep.
Jason X from the classic line.
Jason
horror.
X. Yes,
This
it's
is the
horror.
one in space. Oh.
Yeah, in space. And just when you think you've killed him, he becomes a cyber Jason. Even
Super
more
Jason.
unstoppable.
Allow. They're really milking the ways.
The 2005 Doom movie.
Ah, I know
Is
this.
this horror?
Nah. To me, no.
Doom is
Not
basically
even the Rock overacting as the villain. That's not horror.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The guy in the wheelchair turned into this mutant slug thing.
it's the Pinky Monster.
Yeah, the Pinky Monster. That's not horror.
no, not horror for me.
Not horror. It's an action movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's action movie.
Oh,
A cheap one indeed.
Doom as a franchise is ostensibly a horror movie if you weren't playing the Doom guy.
Ah.
Warlock, the
Warlock,
Armageddon.
The Armageddon. This is actually a trilogy, but the second movie is the best. Armageddon. The Warlock is the son of the devil. He's trying to gather these magical crystals to summon the devil.
What the?
So is it an adventure movie or a horror movie?
Horror movie.
Oh, it's a horror movie. Huh?
He turns one person into a living work of art. In exchange for one of the gems, the guy demanded a unique and priceless work of art. He turned the guy into a hideous sculpture.
Talk
It's
about
like those-
don't un-
it's like
talk
those genie
about-
movies.
It's like the Wishmaster movie.
Yeah.
So yes, horror.
So which means
I recommend
this is the guy who doesn't understand customer service at all. That guy said he wanted.
He's the son of the devil. I think it's implied.
He's a jackass genie basically.
yeah.
Ooh, a classic one. Re-animator.
Oh, this is
Definitely.
definitely horror.
So a classic one, eh?
He uses this green liquid to reanimate dead things.
Based off a classic H.P. Lovecraft story.
H.P. Lovecraft story.
Yes.
Ooh.
Herbert West, Re-animator.
Ooh, Virus, a pretty unknown one.
Now,
I
Virus is interesting. I'm not sure if it's horror. It's about a
Alien.
alien space program that gets accidentally beamed onto a Russian research ship. Then the program takes over all the machines on the ship and it starts to cannibalize the crew.
So the
Then it
virus.
turns the crew into cybernetic zombies.
Like the Borg from Star
Wait.
Trek.
Yes.
So it's not like the virus is computer virus.
Yes.
Yes.
But it takes over the whole ship and the crew.
Ouch.
And it makes
Okay.
these little
Yeah.
machines that attack people and then it turns the people's corpses into
Yeah.
robot zombies.
There's this iconic scene where I think they enter the bowels of the ship and there's this room full of just body parts and people being converted into the machines. It's horrific.
Well, that's bad.
But
that horror?
is it more of it's
I think it's-
but
mostly it
leans
is horror
a
to
lot
me.
more to the action area, isn't it?
Yeah.
This one would be horror for me.
It's a bit like Aliens but with a computer virus.
Yeah.
I think it's horror.
This
lah.
is much more possible than a horror.
Okay.
Than an Alien, so it's good.
Uwe Boll's House of the Dead adaptation.
It's shit cupcakes.
Is it horror? Did it horrify
shit.
anyone? Did it scare
I don't
anybody?
think this is horror.
This is trauma. This is trauma. What a waste of the license.
It's
you know.
horrifying to watch, but it's not horror.
Ooh. Darkness Falls.
Darkness Falls.
About an evil tooth fairy.
I'm pretty sure this is horror.
Oh yeah.
So it's a tooth fairy, but dark.
Shit. Dark. So dark, in fact, the original cut when they used for test audiences scared the hell out of them.
No.
And the studio had to tone it down.
I'm quite curious. So he's a tooth fairy.
She.
She. So
She's
what does she
actually
do?
a vengeful spirit. I'm not sure why they associated her with the Tooth Fairy.
But she rips the tooths out of children.
Oh, I
Her
see.
one weakness is light. If you stay in the light,
Oh, yeah.
you're okay. She
Yeah,
only
there's
attacks you
yeah.
in the darkness.
There's this scene in the movie where the main character goes back home, turns everything on. His power bill must be insane.
Because she came for him when he was a
Yeah.
child.
This will be
This is
horror
horror,
in
definitely
Malaysia.
horror.
You know, like electricity stops all the time.
Yeah, if your power goes
It's like
out and
lights
your
out.
batteries die, you're
Yeah, you're
finished.
done.
The next one, 13 Ghosts.
13 Ghosts. This is also a remake of a 50s movie.
Scared me as hell.
The original one was to show off 3D technology.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, that was not horror at all. It's basically a 3D demonstration video.
So it's a tech demo.
Yeah, it's a tech demo, and then floating ghost heads. Ooh. It was not horror at all. But this is pretty horrifying, right?
Yeah.
The ghosts are all really messed up.
Yeah.
Each of the 13 ghosts.
And every has its own stories on it.
This is how you do a remake, Hollywood.
13 ghosts.
The horror remakes are usually good. We have a couple of other horror remakes. They are always good.
Look.
The Blob, unfortunately, I don't have the DVD. The Blob is a very good horror movie. The remake. Not the original starring
Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen. That was a comedy. But I recommend you watch The Blob if you're into horror. The 1980s remake.
So, you have more on the pile. Let's keep going through them. Some of those are mine, so I just recommend caution.
Apocalypse Now?
War
The
movie.
last third of that movie is a horror movie.
This is not a horror movie. This is
Kurt's
a war
compound is filled with heads on pikes.
movie. No, it's
This
not
movie
horror.
shows you the
This is
horrors
war.
of.
No,
Yeah, no.
it's not horror.
It's the horrors of war.
No. Horrors of war don't count.
This is a war movie.
All's fair in love and war. No. Carrie,
She's a horror icon, especially the original one.
Chloe Moretz.
Brian De
Grace.
Palma, but I like the Chloe Grace Moretz
played
one.
the
more.
original one. CC Spacek, is it?
Yeah, she's basic.
So
technically
I
it's
don't
a-
consider it horror.
It's mostly a teen drama,
Yeah, it's
but
teen drama.
but the last prom scene is mostly considered what people think of horror. She just murders the hell out of them.
But that's just a witch, isn't it? It's a witch who got
No.
pissed off.
But she's not a witch. She's a psychic, telekinesis. Basically like a superhero origin story, but it's gone wrong.
Okay, so it's a dark superhero story.
It's like a Brightburn.
It's not horror. Was Brightburn horror?
I was trying,
I
very
was too
trying.
pissed off at it to even consider it horror.
Trying, they are very trying it to be horror. Jump
Okay.
scares and all that shit.
Right.
Okay.
It's that one.
Oh,
1408.
This is horror. This is high level horror.
When you go into a hotel room,
Yeah.
The hotel room 1408 is
haunted.
Haunted on a whole new level.
And there's one scene in the movie where the protagonist thinks he's escaped it. He's out. But then, in a cruel twist of fate, the room says, "No, you're not out. You're still in."
Yeah. And
And-
the movie is so epic that there are several endings for it. this special 2-disc DVD collection has all the endings.
And it has one of the classic lines of what I can say one of the classic lines of Hollywood. Samuel L. Jackson, I think the main character John Cusack plays, asks, "What's wrong with 1408?" And Sam Jackson says, "There's nothing wrong. It's just an
No,
evil."
It's like, is it haunted because of
Yeah.
all the deaths that happened there? Then Samuel Jackson said, "No, it's just a fucking evil room."
It's just an evil fucking room. It's a mind bending movie, and
Definitely
the
horror.
twists and turns. Oh yeah.
so normally like slasher,
Oh.
you don't consider it horror.
What?
Slasher films.
No.
Dep-
It's
It
just a
depends.
crazy person with a knife or an axe or something. You can fight off that person. What is stopping you from fighting off that person?
Most
Okay.
of the time, the protagonist is just
If
stupid.
they
It's
took you completely by surprise, there's nothing you can say lah. But if I came at you with a knife like this,
Yeah.
are you just gonna stand there and die? You won't try and stop me at all. You won't throw a chair at me or something.
I would throw a chair with you, but if the writing says no chair throwings and your
That's the
friends
problem,
suck
isn't it? The
friends,
writing.
Yeah.
The writing makes you a victim, not you. The audience is left to wonder why are you just sitting there as a victim.
Mostly they make all the wrong choices. That's horrifying, isn't it?
The writing is horrifying.
Yes.
I don't consider
Horror.
no, I don't consider it horror.
Slasher films is not horror.
It's
Alright.
when you take the knife, you stab me,
Alright.
and I still don't care that I stab you multiple times.
that
I
is
kill
horror.
all your friends with the knife still in me. That is horror.
Okay.
Because you did something right. You tried to stop me, but I don't stop. I just keep going. That is horror.
So wasn't Jason all over that?
Yes,
You
that's
can't-
that's
But
how,
not the remake one. I
No.
think they stopped him, didn't they?
No, yeah, they stopped him. Jennifer's body.
Jennifer's body.
Megan Fox, is it
Is
horror?
this horror? I don't think so.
I consider horror.
He's a
Ye-
demon,
yes.
man-eating demon. But oh yeah, if she came to eat me, I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I
what
would
would
complain.
horrify me is that
Take note of that, Megan Fox.
right before she eats you, she turns her mouth opens, it's just the giant maw full of teeth.
It's okay.
That's horror.
It's Megan Fox. I forgive her.
Okay.
But not horror. No,
No horrors.
too sexy to be horror.
I'm okay for this.
Mirrors and
Nope.
the sequel. I consider this horror. In fact, I consider this the precursor to like the Conjuring series.
The mirrors are possessed or what?
No,
There was an exorcism that went wrong. They trapped a demon in a mirror. Then from there, suddenly the demon can reach out into other mirrors.
Oh,
Oh, it's like that scene from the Constantine movie.
Yeah, exactly like that. So, but yeah, I consider this horror.
Kiefer
There are a
Sutherland.
lot of intense scenes in these movies.
Ooh, okay.
Silent Hill.
The first movie.
I can vouch for this movie so much. I love this
I
movie.
guess it's horror. It's got
Uh,
Pyramid Head in it.
really? I don't think it's quite horror.
Huh?
It's a very interesting movie for me. I love this
But it's
movie.
not scary
It's
for
not
you?
horror?
No, it's
you
not.
played Silent
It
Hill.
had the nurses, the Pyramid Head,
This is okay for me.
Do you
I
see
love-
Revelations?
Revelation sucks.
and the zombies are weird. They spit fire at you or something.
Acid.
Yeah.
Acids.
I thought it was quite scary.
Acid bloods. Yep. But
Then-
this one is a very
Then
good
the poor
art of work.
policewoman Sybil gets burned alive.
She lives to
Yeah.
show up in sequels later in the movie, in the games, but the movie this is her
It
only
was
appearance.
interesting to see. And
Revelations.
How about the
Ah.
sequel?
No, the sequel sucks.
The sequel sucks.
Yeah, the sequel
But I like
sucks.
the Pyramid Head design
Basically,
in
the
this one.
budget cut off to 30%. It's not horror anymore.
Okay.
It's just like a chef carving human meat
So,
and everything.
The first one is horror, but the sequel is
Yeah.
oh,
The sequel is not at all. Shit.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
The Mummy.
Mummy movie.
The remakes.
The
I gotta have
The
a
second
shot.
remake.
This is really nice.
Is it horror?
It's not horror.
It's an
It's not horror.
action adventure movie.
Adventure. But
Yes.
the original
Boris Karloff one
Boris Karloff movie
was a very slow, creeping horror.
Universal's The Mummy. That was a horror movie.
Yep.
And introduced Imhotep as this, slow, scary.
An ox and a moon.
What?
And Anaxuna.
An ox and a moon.
Anaksunamun.
Anak Tsunami.
Now
These are not horror.
They
oh,
deserve to be respect, man.
okay.
Don't throw it. Brandon
I'll
Fraser.
just set them. You set them gently in the box.
Let me set them gently on the
Set
box.
them down gently in the box.
Never throw Brandon Fraser.
Now,
He's
how
our
about
man.
the 2017 remake? They tried
Tom
to.
Cruise one?
They tried
Oh,
to do
F
both
that.
action and
No,
horror at the
no.
same time.
Kill it.
The only thing
Kill
I like
it.
about it is Sofia Boutella's mummy. I like the design.
The design is good, but no,
The
no. Tom.
story and the setting is all suck.
Tom Cruise is like becoming.
Russell
mummy.
Crowe is Mr. Hyde, right?
Oh, yeah.
That was a throwaway moment.
Hey, but I love that character of Russell Crowe.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Okay.
he performed it really well.
But it's not
Trying to
horror.
create a universe just by one movie.
An American Werewolf in London.
John Landis.
This is the best werewolf movie ever.
I disagree.
The transformation
I
scene
love Lon
happened in
Chaney's
one,
Wolfman
didn't
a
it?
bit more than this.
No.
This is just a big wolf.
This is the best werewolf movie ever.
Fight!
No.
How about you, Ko?
Slash
You've
him.
seen it, right?
I saw the transformation scene.
I mean, just him transforming is horrifying to me.
Yeah, the sequence is really brilliantly done.
But it's just a giant wolf. It's not werewolf.
Have you seen the Wolfman? It's just a hairy dude.
Oh.
It's just a dude that sprouts too much hair like a monkey.
So actually, you can kill it, right?
No.
As long as you have a silver bullet.
Yeah.
Ah.
All werewolves like these silver.
Every of these needs silver bullets for
This
killing.
This is horror to me.
Now,
Alright.
of course, not just the Americans are known for horror. We have some Japanesey stuff over here.
I got some weeb stuff.
Yes.
Evil.
Stuff Cole will be familiar with. High School of the
High
Dead.
School of the Dead manga.
Is it?
I know, I know.
Is this horror?
I know it was recommended to me by a friend saying it's so horror and then it's so good.
Is it scary? You say it
No,
was scary?
it's more like a
It
fan
is
service to
Not
me.
scary. This is
It's not
This
scary.
is yummy.
It's all about
I highly
boobs and
recommend
everything.
it. The women are beautiful.
So not scary.
I did
No.
not buy it for horror. Let me
Yeah,
tell
it's
you
not. It's
that.
not for horror.
This is not horror.
It's not horror at all.
Gently set it off to the side.
How about
Hellsing.
Hellsing?
Ooh, starring Dracula or Alucard.
Legendary vampire manga.
Now this isn't the one.
This is-
This is the one most people. This is the original
This is
release,
the original
not ultimate.
anime.
Yeah.
No, 13 episode OVA. Not Ultimate. Ultimate was made later, 10 episodes.
Yes. This is written before the manga was finished.
Yeah, so Ultimate is based on more closely based on the manga.
After it was
I
finished.
think both are available on Netflix.
Really, for now,
Yeah,
they
you
did
search
not
Hellsing on Netflix, you should be able to find both of them.
games.
I also recommend the abridged series available on YouTube by Team 4 Star.
I think this is horror. Alucard has some freaky powers when he unleashes them.
He can spot. He can
He
turn.
has
transform
to
into.
unlock them, right?
Yes,
He
seals.
unlocks several seals that lock his powers.
There's what the finale had him summon a river of undead to attack the Vatican Church and the Nazis.
Yeah, when he loses a limb, like eyeballs
sprout.
Eyeballs ooze out of him.
Jeez.
That's pretty horror.
Okay.
Junji Ito stuff. I don't have it unfortunately, but
I
I think
don't.
that's horror.
That's horror.
It's much more very twisted, like
Especially stuff like Uzumaki. Been all of what we consider to be horror.
Actually, I got a lot of horror stuff over my.
Is Final Destination a horror?
Yes,
Yeah,
you
it's
can't
horror.
fight it. It's death.
You can't stop it.
Yeah.
And
So
some of the
yeah.
scenes are pretty horrific.
So what do you consider horror? What scares you? Is our selection what you consider horror? Comment down below, and we hope to enjoy this video.
I like
Entirety of
horror.
October.
Why am I alone?
You're alone.
It's not exactly
mostly
horrific.
it's teen angst
Yes,
drama
it's teen drama with
with
vampires.
vampires and werewolves.
You know those Twilight
You might as well
fans,
watch
they're
Monster
screaming at
Hunter.
you right
No
now.
one considers it horror.
Those Twilight fans are gonna scream at you right now, Andrew. You're saying like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Looking at these lights, if I were a Twilight vampire, I could
Whee!
take off all my clothes and sparkle in front of all of you.
so
That's not
yeah,
horror.
we hope everyone has a very spooky October, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Of Let's Cakap. Cakap.
Prepare to be scared this Spooktober.
I'ma kill you all.
Alright, bye bye.
Bye bye.